do something behind the camera, but obviously it never materialised. So we're just doing it. Yeah. So we're just going to. I just wanted to ask you, basically, what was he like in Lock, Stock, and what was he like with everyone else?
Well, I've got, as everyone who's ever had the pleasure of meeting Lenny has got tales to tell, and it's something which you live off. It's like, you know, everyone that knows Lenny's got a great Lenny story and live off it.
Yeah.
Some of them are second hand, and I've heard people tell the same story about Lenny, but they're pretending it was them. And you know, people adopt stories, kind of like they did with the Craze. You know, everyone drove the Craze. Everyone was a mate of Lenny's. But when we started Lock, Stock, it was really funny because there was a couple of things that were funny about the beginning of Lock, Stock. One being that Lenny was always attached from very early on. So there's an authenticity to the characters that you could only get with people like Lenny and a few other characters where Guy Ritchie, you know, chose people who were actors, but there was an authenticity to them that you couldn't fake or impersonate. But I'd gone into the audition, which was actually not far from here, we were in Clapham, and I'd gone into the audition in front of Guy, pretending to be a lot wider than I actually am. Do you know what I mean? And I'd gone, all right, Richie, how's it going, mate? Yeah, sweet, yeah, I want a bit of this, bit of that. Yeah, I do a bit of acting. You know, I've got a few other things on that I get up to, you know, when I'm not acting. I did all this whole sort of front thing. And he kind of bought it. Yeah. But then the film collapsed. And we had 6 months while we were trying to raise the money. And I was cast by that point. And I think Ray Winstone was cast at that point. And obviously Lenny was. Nick Moran might not have been. But I was definitely in. Yeah. And they would ask me out for dinner and stuff and go, oh, you know, to keep everyone sweet, let's keep the team together. And I couldn't go because they realised I was just a big soft puff from South London. So I had to kind of like go make up all this stuff about, oh, I can't, mate, I've got to go and see a friend who's inside and I've got to go and do this, I've got to go and do that. But it was all a complete fake because I was just a big old softie. So I kept my distance from it. And then when we started filming, they pretty much very quickly sussed that I wasn't the real McCoy, which was fine by then and it was great. And then they put me in like a Guatemalan cell because we had no money. Basically what we had was we had these trailers which were, it's called a three-way. And they're usually for supporting artists who are in for a day. So it's a block of it's a sort of a caravan with 3 sections to it, no toilets, but 3 changing rooms, which you put, you know, someone who was in for a day, you might put them in. But what they did was they put 2 of us in each. Yeah. Me with your dad. So and they're tiny. You can't really get one guy. Yeah. So I got to work the first morning, or maybe it was like the 5th morning or 6th morning. And it was Lenny's first day, and I got to my little door and it went, Jason Flemyng, Lenny Mclean, and I went, oh. And I opened the door and I looked in, it was tiny, and I went, there's no way in God's green earth Lenny Mclean is going to get in this trailer with me in it. So I got changed quickly and left my bag in the corner, and then Lenny arrived and shook hands with everyone, and they said, Lenny, this is your trailer. He opened it up, and there was no way we'd both get in there, and it was raining. Yeah. I remember it was raining, so Lenny got in, and he went, you all right, boy? And I went, yeah, no, I'm fine, Lenny. I'm going to change that. I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to change out here. He went, what, outside? And I went, yeah, no, I'm going to change. I'm just going to change in the street. And he went, good boy. And he closed the door. And I was getting changed in the street, and I'd forgotten something. And I knocked on the door like this, and I'd left my stuff in there. And there was a CD that I'd left. That's how long ago it was. There was a CD which I was playing, which was on the side. It was an Elvis CD, and your dad was very into Elvis. Yeah. And it was a Japanese import, and he went, it was the first day I'd met him, and I went, he went, where'd you get this, boy? And I went, oh, it's a Japanese import, they're hard to get. And he goes, could you get me one of these? And I said, you can have that one, Lenny. He went, good boy, good boy. And he stuck it in his bag, and I was like, oh God, this is a nightmare being in with Lenny, because there's nothing I can say. Yeah. And then after that, he was good as gold, and we came out, and we did, you know, did I shoot with Lenny? We shot the scenes when he was in the office and we walked in down the corridor. But I think that was the only day I shot with him. But he was there all the time. Yeah. You know, I saw him do the scene with the Scousers. Where he was going, he goes, where's those guns? Did you get those guns? No, the old ones. And I saw him shoot that scene. And just loved it. But my main story really was sharing a trailer with Lenny Mclean, which is something I'll live off for the rest of my life. And him taking my Elvis CD and me not having any choice but give it to him.
What was he like with the other cast members and people? Did everyone like sort of gravitate towards him, like listen to his stories?
Yeah, I mean, The tragedy was, you know, as you know, is that Lenny wasn't completely well at that point, and one of the great pleasures and successes of Lock, Stock was the fact that it came out and was #1 at the box office at the same time as The Governor.
Yeah, the book,